You already know that gravity is a conservative force. When we have a conservative force, we come up with the potential energy term. And we've been using that to solve problems close to the surface of the Earth. But we want to be able to use something similar to solve problems in general, on the surface of the moon, out in space somewhere, not necessarily on the surface of the Earth. So let's do a quick recap of how we got gravitational potential energy on the surface of the Earth. We know the force of gravity on the surface of the Earth is mg, and if we're lifting something from some initial height to some final height, as we lift our object up, the force of gravity is pulling down on it. So we can integrate from our initial height to our final height and get the work done. The force of gravity is mg. The dot product gives us a cosine of 180. And we're integrating from our initial height to our final height. So what we get here is a negative and we define this mgy as our potential energy. And we know that our work done is going to be negative change in potential energy. And this works when the force of gravity is constant and on the surface of the Earth. So as long as we're very close to the surface of the Earth, we don't get too far away from it, the force of gravity remains constant. As you go farther and farther away from the center of the Earth, as we go to higher and higher altitudes, the force of gravity drops off slightly, and at some point we can't just keep assuming it's constant. So in general, we know we have a universal law of gravity. If we move our object m2 farther away from m1, the force of gravity is pulling back in this direction. So if our initial is less than our final, our force of gravity pushes back this way and we get a cosine of 180 in our dot product f dot dr. We do the same process we did earlier. The only difference now is that our force is not constant. The cosine 180 gives us a negative 1. The integral of 1 over r squared is negative 1 over r. And we're evaluating this from r initial to r final. And we say, let's let this be U sub g, our gravitational potential energy. And we get the work done is minus the change in gravitational potential energy. So for our universal case, when the force of gravity can change, we get gravitational potential energy is negative g m1 m2 over r. Let's take a look and see why that makes sense. So what does this function look like? If we plot the gravitational potential energy versus r, the distance that our two objects are apart from each other, it's a negative 1 over r. 1 over r looks like this. Negative 1 over r is going to look like this. Why does that make sense? Well, when our two objects move farther apart from each other, our gravitational potential energy has to get bigger. As they get farther apart, they have more gravitational potential energy stored in the system, because if we let go of them, they would start to move toward each other, and they'd move faster and faster and faster, and when they collided, they'd have a lot of energy, right? So that energy has to come from somewhere. It has to be stored in the gravitational field when they're apart. The farther apart they are, the bigger the gravitational energy. Just like if I lift my pen up, as I lift it up above the surface of the table or the surface of the earth, higher and higher, it has more and more gravitational potential energy. And then when it moves closer to the earth, it has less. Well, two objects out in space, when they move farther apart, they have to have more gravitational potential energy. When they move closer, they have to have less. So if this was just a 1 over r, and there was no minus sign there, that wouldn't work. The potential energy would get less and less and less as the distance got bigger. By having the minus sign there, it fixes that problem. As our objects get farther apart, as r gets bigger, our gravitational potential energy also gets bigger. It gets less negative. Remember, when you're dealing with negative numbers, -4 is smaller than -2, which is smaller than 0. So as we move up closer and closer to 0, as our numbers get less and less negative, we are going to larger and larger energy. There's another interesting thing about this equation. Where does the energy go to 0? It goes to 0 when r goes to infinity. When the objects are infinitely far apart from each other, our gravitational potential energy is 0, and that's the maximum it can be. The most gravitational energy we can have between two objects is 0, and that occurs when they are infinitely far apart from each other. And as they move closer and closer and closer, it drops, and it becomes negative, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. As they come closer and closer together, it becomes more and more negative. That means we can't assign 0 for our potential energy any place we want anymore. With our old term, we could assign 0 anywhere we want. At the surface of the earth, at the floor, at the table, at the ceiling, any place we wanted, we could have called y equals 0. And it worked out fine because we were taking differences of a linear function, mgy. Now we have this 1 over r. We can't just call 0 any place we want. It doesn't work. We can't just take differences and get the same thing. 0 has to be at r equals infinity.